Well, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has asked US President Barack Obama to end the witch hunt against his whistleblower website.
Absolutely. In fact, Assange emerged in public for the first time in 2 months since he took refuge in the Ecuador embassy in London, this to escape extradition to Sweden on alleged sex offences.
Well, the 41-year-old hacker turned activist cited examples of alleged action in various countries against freedom of expression. Assange then drew loud applause from over 200 supporters who had gathered there.
Assange appeared in the balcony of the embassy's ground floor flat with nearly 100 British police officers in a police helicopter above, closely watching every movement. Technically, he remained within Ecuador territory, which prevented the British police officers from actually going ahead and arresting him.
Well, he has been granted diplomatic asylum by Ecuador, while Britain insists that it is committed to extraditing him to Sweden to face allegations of sex offences and will not give him safe passage.
As WikiLeaks stands under threat, so does the freedom of expression and the health of all our societies. The US administration's war on whistleblowers must end. I ask President Obama to do the right thing. The United States must renounce its witch hunt against WikiLeaks. The United States must dissolve its FBI investigation. The United States must vow that it will not seek to prosecute our staff or our supporters. I thank President Correa for the courage he has shown in considering and in granting me political asylum. And I also thank the government, and in particular Foreign Minister Ricardo Patino, who upheld the Ecuadorian constitution and its notion of universal citizenship in their consideration of my asylum.
What have you advised Julian Assange?
I've been giving them advice on the inviolability of diplomatic premises, on the applicability of the Vienna Convention, and on law concerning diplomatic asylum, and how to proceed in diplomatic negotiations regarding a way out of this problem.
A lot of Latin American countries have joined in, so how will this implicate upon the diplomatic relationship between the Latin America and Britain, and also the US in this whole mix?
No, this really makes a big difference. The United Kingdom made a huge mistake when it threatened to invade the territory of Ecuador, because it really united Latin America against the United Kingdom on an issue of which many Latin American governments were only vaguely aware or weren't particularly seized or didn't feel they had a particular interest.
What is the likelihood of him being extradited from Sweden to US or handed over to the US as he fears?
Well, I think anybody who has seriously studied the detail of what is alleged to have happened in Sweden and the way that the charges were brought after the weeks after the events and after the two people bringing accusations had colluded together on their story, you would have to be very gullible indeed to believe that the actual so-called accusations are the real motive for what's happening in Sweden. I think you'd be very, very foolish to believe that. There has to be an ulterior motive. And the obvious one, is the desire of the United States government to get hold of him.
Right behind me is the balcony of Ecuadorian embassy, where Julian Assange emerged to the world after full 2 months, and he thanked Ecuadorian embassy for their courage, for standing by justice, and also named all the Latin American countries who would be supporting him now in the cause. So this ends the speculation of what Julian Assange is going to do next. He is going to be inside the Ecuadorian embassy and still urge for a safe passage, or probably all the other demands that he has. He could not be arrested because he was still on the embassy premises. But what now the question really arises is, what will UK do now? Will they revoke or will they take recourse to the law where they can revoke the status of the embassy and enter it forcefully and arrest Julian Assange? Now this is yet to be seen, but one thing is definitely clear, that this diplomatic stalemate is now not only between Ecuador but many other Latin American countries. It has gone to yet another difficult level. Lavina Tandon for Headlines Today from London.